Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone. And this is Priyanka, Research Scholar, Department of Mathematics, Kakatiya University. First of all, happy National Statistics Day, ma'am, and sirs, everyone. And as we know, our FedMate Educational Academy conducting many programs. In that part of that, they have a program on how to crack CSIR today. And by the help of this academy, of course, many students are using this course as they're achieving many goals. And thank you, sir, on behalf of the every student. Thank you so much for this program and of course the installation of app, everything, sir. And coming to today's program, how to crack CSIR easily. And today's our guest is Sarita ma'am, Dr. Sarita ma'am, working as an assistant professor at the Department of Mathematics, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Bangalore. Ma'am pursued her PhD from the Department of Mathematics, Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, Rajasthan in December 2023. And the main thesis title of ma'am's is Forecasting of Renewable Energy Using Statistics and Machine Learning, under the guidance of Sumanta Pasari, ma'am. And coming to ma'am qualifications and education skills, ma'am completed her MSc in IIT Delhi in July 2016. Ma'am finished her degree in MDU Rohtak, June 2013. Ma'am worked as a trainee at the research organization of the Clinical Diagnosis Department of Gilbert's Research Center, Coimbatore. And ma'am attended NCM workshop on Introduction to Statistical Learning Techniques held at ISI at Kolkata. Ma'am has worked as a teaching assistant at the Department of Mathematics, BITS Pilani. And ma'am has a teaching fellow at the Department of Mathematics, IIT Delhi. And ma'am worked as a research fellow in graph theory under the guidance of Professor B.S. Panda sir, IIT Delhi. And of course, ma'am worked as assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, RPS, Degree College, Haryana. And ma'am did her MSc project on the title Exponential Sums under the guidance of Professor Anuradha Sharma Garu. And ma'am achieved a lot of things in that. Just I'm recalling just few awards. Ma'am secured All India Rank 88 in JRF conducted by CSR UGC in June 2018. Ma'am secured AIR, All India Rank 72 in GATE 2018 also. Ma'am secured All India Rank 113 in IIT JAM in 2014. And ma'am secured All India Rank 512 in IIT JAM 2013. Ma'am awarded with a Central Sector Scholarship Scheme for meritorious students for 4 years. Ma'am, I'm very glad to invite you, ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And on the behalf of Med Educational Academy, I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for such a great introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now I request Sarita M. Please give brief profile of Fermat Educational Academy with 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Very good evening to one and all. Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to give a brief introduction about the Fermat Educational Academy. The Fermat Educational Academy was established on 15th August 2022 in Hanmakonda with a batch of 28 students by Dr. T. Nagaya sir, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Kakatiya University, Warangal. The Academy is providing online coaching for various competitive exams like Gurukula, JL, TL, DL, TG Set, AP Set, GATE, CSIR NET, IIT JAM, etc. The Academy is conducting online classes with eminent faculty working at various institutions and universities. Let us have a look at some of the milestones of Fermat's Educational Academy. So in the first batch itself, 32 students secured good jobs as junior lecturers in government junior colleges in Telangana. More than 90 students secured jobs in Gurukula schools and colleges. And in the first batch of itself, in 2022, 38 members qualified TSET examination. And in 2023, 47 students cleared the TSET examinations. And in next 2024, 42 students cleared TSET examination. And some of the students qualified GATE and CSIR NET examination and are pursuing PhDs in state universities, NITs, and IITs. And it also provided free online coaching for IIT JAM examination. And some students cleared IIT JAM examination and are doing their MSc in various NITs and IITs. And Dr. Nagaya sir is constantly putting his efforts in delivering the best online coaching for the benefit of the students. It is one of the best online institutions in Telangana providing quality online coaching in mathematics for various competitive exams. It is highly useful coaching center for working men and women in Telangana who are preparing for competitive exams. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarita, for brief information about education academy. Now I request Dr. S. Sarita to deliver today lecture how to crack CSIR NET examination. First, I would like to thank on behalf of Fermat Education Academy as well as both the Telugu state students because of due to some awareness of CSIR examinations, only few students are qualifying every year. So I request Dr. Sarita to deliver a lecture how to crack CSIR and also give some easy tips to this examination. Thank you. Over to Sarita, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. So should I share my screen now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. I'll be talking about a few strategies, might be working, might not work for everyone, but the things that worked for me at least to crack a few examinations named IIT JAM and then GATE and hence CSIR also JRF. And I'll try my best. If someone can be benefited from my talk, I'll be happy. Okay. Yeah. So I guess because the audience is here who is familiar of what is CSIR NET. So it is an exam which gives us at least two kind of freedom in the India, of course. We are eligible for lecturership as well as we are eligible for JRFs. Few are eligible for both, few are eligible for only one. Depending upon the scores. It is conducted by NTA happening 2 times in a year, June and December. And the eligibility is of course masters or equivalent degrees. We are given 3 hours and it is a bilingual exam. Both languages question paper is given to us, English as well as Hindi. And it is of course a gateway to research, teaching and PhD programs in India. So this is the exam pattern basically. There are 3 sections in the exam. Section 1 is part A, which is general aptitude. Section B is subject exam and section 3 is also a subject exam. We know that section B, which is a subject exam, we are given 40 questions. Out of 40, we have to attempt maximum 25. Each question is of 3 marks and if we attempt it wrong, so we lose 0.75 marks. This is just a general introduction of the exam. I will take 2 minutes only for this and I know most of you are aware, but still to start with and to focus on a few things from start. And the part C is again a MCQ where we can have one or more than one right answers, of course. So this is the beauty of this part C, where we are not sure how many of the given options are correct. And this is again, there are 60 questions. We have to attempt at most 20. If we are correct, we are awarded 4.75 marks and there is no negative marking. So total there are 200 marks and we are given 3 hours. Negative marking is available for part A and part B only, no part C. So for the examination, we have of course to focus on 2 things. One is how do we prepare for the exam, and once we are sure that we have prepared enough for the exam, still attempt of the exam is again very big deal. It's not like everyone who is preparing is able to correct any, is able to crack any national level exams. We have to be strategic in both the ways, while preparation as well as while attempting also. There are so many students who will be saying after exam that I knew I could have done this much if I was given extra time. I could have done this much if I did not do these things wrong in the exam. So I believe that once someone is starting for preparation, we give at least 1 year for the preparation for an exam, be it a state level eligibility test, or the CSIR exam, or the IIT exam, or be it GATE exam. We are giving at least 1 year to the exams, and at the end, who is a serious preparation, of course, is giving that much of time. So I do not think anyone is there who is living somewhere that, okay, I did not study these topics, I did something else. And I believe that the results and of course the ranks are made with the strategies. How do you attempt the exam? Preparation is, I guess, everyone is doing and everyone is doing their best. So we have to be strategic both the times, while the preparation and also while the attempt of the exam. This is what I believe. And since we are in the end of June and the exam happens now in end of July, am I right, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. July
Yes.
26th to 20.
Yeah. So we have almost 1 month now. So in this 1 month, I believe that everyone has at least gone through the syllabus once, someone is twice. So we are in the revision time. How should we revise? How should we practice so that we can get at most out of what we have prepared? So we are at that situation. Everyone here for the CSIR is of that situation, of course. And because these exams, GATE and the CSIR have similar exam syllabus. Similarly, the state eligibility tests are also of the similar syllabus. JAM exam is a little bit, I would say, of a lower standard than CSIR exam, just because it is of a bachelor's level exam and the other three are the master's level exam. That is the only difference, I feel. So coming to the syllabus, yeah. So in each part A is of course a general aptitude, so we cannot talk about what is the syllabus of this and all. But part B and part C, in each part, there are 4 units from the mathematics. I am talking about the CSIR perspectives. Those who are preparing for the state exams also, I am sure that the content is similar. So we can talk about that as well. Unit 1 is linear algebra and real analysis. Unit 2 is complex analysis, abstract algebra and topology. Unit 3 is ODE, PDEs, numerical analysis and functional analysis, including COV and integral equations. Unit 4 is operation research, probability and statistics. So what I believe here is everyone is at most focusing on linear algebra, real analysis, complex analysis and abstract algebra. Little bit about ODs. So generally those who are fresher mathematics, MSc and those students, they revolve around these things only. In part B as part C as well, these are the same units. Part B also, the question paper part B will have unit 1, these 2 things, unit 2, these 3 sections, unit 3, these sections. So it is similar over all those. But how part B and part C are different? In part B, we notice that the questions are of either calculation or solution at a site. I believe that if you are that much prepared, if you have that much of practice you have done on part B, no questions would be given more than 2 or 2.5 minutes. So this is the level of part B. I'm not talking about this level. This is how the question paper is prepared. So the questions from part B, being from linear algebra, real analysis or any of these topics, they require at most 2.5 minutes of attention. Sometimes we look at a question, we feel like, okay, I know this is the concept, but the questions are really either to be solved in 2 or 3 lines or to be solved by sight only. So this is how the question paper is prepared for part B. In part C, the questions require many more attention. Sometimes maybe you can give around 5 minutes to a question. And some questions of course are doable in 2 and 2.5 minutes. But more than 5 minutes, we should not give any question of part C. Similarly, more than 3 minutes, we should not give to any question of part B. We feel sometimes like, okay, I look at a question, I feel like I know it, how to do it. But I also know this requires 1 page of calculation. I suggest please do not do that. Apart from that, you can do another 2 questions which require lesser time at least. So this is the strategy how to go with for CSIR students. I am talking about this. And similarly, because if you are writing an exam, you should have seen the patterns, you should have seen the complexity of the questions as well. Sometimes there are once you are done with the exam, later on you will see that okay, these 3 questions were also there which I could have solved if I had not given this much time to that question. So this is how we feel. So we should go strategic during the examination as well as while preparation. So I will be talking about each and every section separately. So starting with unit 1, linear algebra. Yeah, sorry. So this is about the syllabus of real analysis in CSIR exam. We notice that there are so many of course topics, and if we talk about the first unit, which is elementary set 3 to infimums and all, so we see that these days the question, we cannot say that this topic is not important from this real analysis. We are noticing question from each and every section of course. Difficulty level is somewhat sometimes difficult question, even 4.75 marks question come from countable and uncountable sets. Similarly, even a 3-mark question comes from non-linear spaces. So each and every topic is equally important, definitely from real analysis perspective. Also, one more importance of this topic is either we are doing ODEs or we are doing linear algebra or we are doing PDEs. We notice that the questions are not asked directly now. We are never asked solve this ODE. Sometimes what we are asked is the solution of this ODE. So of course solution of ODE will be a function. Some range will be given. They will be asking this solution is continuous, what type of discontinuity this solution is showing, this solution is function of bounded variation, on what range. So these kind of questions are being asked of course. So that is why any other topic is also if we want to solve the question from any other topic, we need the understanding of real analysis. So we cannot skip any topic from this at least. Continuity, uniform continuity, these are all the functions, these are all the properties of functions which are required for analysis as well as complex analysis. So we have to do it and with utmost care also, because these days the most difficult questions are coming from real analysis and linear algebra. They were supposed to be at most scoring, but as well as the difficulty level of the questions has been increased, definitely increased. Since last 10 years it has been increased. Earlier we have noticed that the cutoffs were around before 2013. I have seen the results from maybe 2010 to 2025. I have seen what kind of cutoffs are going in. So before 2013, the cutoffs were always below 95. Below 95, people were getting JRF. After 2014, and we have noticed that cutoffs are always above 100. Sometimes 98 to 120, 98 to 116. So these kind of cutoffs are these days. Still, the difficulty of the question paper also has increased, and still the cutoffs have increased. That shows that preparedness of the people, preparedness of the candidates, which kind of candidates are appearing. So about real analysis, you should read each and every kind of book you are exposed to during your bachelor's and master's degree as well as your coachings. The notes are very important of the coachings for real analysis. Because in the exam, for example, if we are asked to find whether the given integral is of proper, improper, what kind of integral it is, and we are not able to solve completely from starting to end the question, of course. It will take time for these integrals and all those things. We need to remember the results, and through results we need to understand for part B question. So that is why we need to understand the theory as well as which are the direct results for the real analysis. So I again recommend, this is a very important part. We cannot skip anything from it. Directly or indirectly, each and every point is important, either directly from real analysis or these things will be important for complex analysis and ODs. So this is what I would like to say. Also, so there is this portion which I have highlighted, because For these kind of questions, sometimes we need to understand the visuality of the function as well. We cannot always check what kind of discontinuity is there. Similarly, we cannot always check by definition if the function is of bounded variation or not. We need to know if there is a simple question, if we are able to draw this through drawings, are we able to get to the answer in the exam. For example, this is a question I have kept from one of the CSIR exams only. I guess the picture is little bit blurred, but is readable. The question is, which of the following functions are of bounded variation? And the four options are given to us. It is a very simple question from CSIR exam only, 4.75 marks. All the 4 points, if we try to prove or disprove by definition, it will take us 5 minutes to say yes or no to each and every point, of course. But we do not have that much time and we should not go by the definition. So that is why we should remember the results as well. We have to know which of the following functions are of bounded variation. Now we see that x square plus x plus 1. This is a very nice, very smooth function. In this range, there is no discontinuity, there are no jumps. So we have seen that this was one of the results which I heard in by some time during my studies only, maybe bachelor's degree class or master degree class. I did not even remember that, but I remembered one point only, that if the drawing is smooth, we say it is a function of bounded variation in the given range. So of course this is a very smooth drawing without any jumps, without sudden anything. So it is a polynomial. So I would say yes, this is. Again, sine function is also a very smooth drawing, and there is no problem with the high jumps and anything, things like that. The fourth is also a upper part of the circle only. So this is y equals to root 1 minus x square. So y square plus x square equals to 1, half circle upper. So it is again a very nice smooth curve. But we know about this thing, tangent at x equals to plus 1 and x equals to minus 1. So it is tangent pi by 2 plus minus pi by 2. It will be approaching infinities. So we know it will go beyond our limits. Rest 3 are okay. So I did not check anything through definition. I just remembered one result, and it is a miracle that this is solved. So sometimes these kind of questions happen in the exam, and we need to take benefit of these kind of questions. So that is why, especially for real analysis, we are working on any kind of functions, we should know its geometry as well. So this is the one suggestion I would like to highlight, because it works in so many questions. It works, especially for seeing the continuity, of course, monotonicity and these kind of things. Because the direct questions which are coming from real analysis are, I believe, are of very, very high level. Even for these things, countable, uncountable questions, I have seen these questions in part C, but what kind of questions are there? They will not give you a direct set. Tell me this set is a countable or uncountable. They will ask like, number of functions from R to R is countable or uncountable. Number of functions from 1, 2 to R is countable or uncountable. So there is another catch. How do we count these number of functions? So some other conditions, of course. So they will say that the topic is countable and uncountable sets, but some hidden story is there in the questions. So that is why those direct questions are of very high level. We need to deep dive into the topics, as well as there are some very bonus questions directly solvable like this in the exam, and for both we have to take care. Coming to the next topic, linear algebra, of course, favorite of everyone who is preparing for any kind of competition exam, and this is the syllabus. Again, I would like to say, first we have to follow any books which we are familiar with at bachelor's level as well as master's level. But once we are done with the exam, with that basic level preparation, of course, then you must follow one book which I would suggest is, I think everyone must have heard of this, Gilbert-Strang, by Gilbert-Strang, the linear algebra by Gilbert-Strang. So why am I suggesting that book? Because these days, suppose if there is a question about matrices, so you will never see a question that a matrix is given to you, find the rank of a matrix. It is very hard, very, very, very rare to see this kind of question. So that this about this matrix, give me rank and determinant, if very nice matrix. Rather than that what they will ask is, what should be the rank of a power 50? What should be the properties of e power a? So these kind of questions are being asked now in the exams. Of course, the level of exam is somewhat 30% is very easy. Within that 30% you will see easier questions, otherwise the questions are of that level. And for those understandings, how the traces of functions of matrices work, how the linear transformations on functions of some vector spaces and all these kind of things work. So Gilbert Rank book is very nice, and if you have read that book, and we should not of course start with that book. First we can prepare with bachelor's level, whatever we are familiar with, then master's level you must be involved in some coaching material, and along with that, for those extra questions which we need to attempt in part C, basically those questions which require higher level of understanding will come from Gilbert Stein book only. If you are done with that, I don't think there will be any difficulty in scoring at least 40 marks from linear algebra. And in linear algebra also, most of the questions in part C will be from this portion. Matrix representations, change of basis, canonical forms, diagonal forms, triangular forms, Jordan forms. Of course, about these Jordan forms, and then what should be the minimal polynomial of these things, what should be the annihilating polynomial of these things, orthogonal basis, in inner product spaces. So in part A, you will see these questions from here, and in part C, you will see most of the questions from here. If a question in part C is from here, it is not of direct implementation. It is either some function of matrices and how does it behave, these kind of questions are being asked. So this is what about linear algebra, and I strongly recommend the book by Gilbert Stein for linear algebra for any kind of preparation you are doing, and of course understanding also. If you want a deep understanding of linear algebra, we should follow that book. Yeah. So the next unit is complex analysis. Before going to complex analysis, we should be aware of everything from real analysis, because anything which is applicable on real analysis is again applicable on complex analysis. This is what I believe. There are of course extra topics from complex analysis, which are these parts are new. Then because they talk about continuity there, they again talk about continuity there in of course different terms, analytic functions, differentiabilities, everything is talked here also. And again the questions from part A are generally from this section. Part B, sorry, I was talking about. In part B, there are a little bit question of calculative questions, I would say, and some 1 or 1.5 minute thinking requiring questions are there. So you will see those questions. But once you are done with your bachelor's level preparation and master's level preparation and your coachings and everything, then I would recommend this book. So you can take a note of this, J.B. Conway, chapter 3 to chapter 6. What does happen here in chapter 3 to chapter 6? This portion is covered, contour integration to these things. Because again, in complex analysis, they are not going to ask you to just solve and give me the answer. They will be asking about again what are the real analysis properties which are being satisfied here also, what kind of continuities and what kind of things are there, and those convergences and all very nicely proved in the book, and you will remember everything from here. And we can check also once we perform everything from our basic knowledge in the exam, and then we see some special questions that we do not know where is it coming from. Then we go into these standard books, we read the theory, and then we come back. If I had time, I would have shown the chapter and I would have shown those results also, on which I have seen questions directly on those results from these books. So this is about complex analysis, especially for this part, because in those 4.75 marks, those very special questions I have seen from here. And then is algebra, of course. Everyone must be following Gallian book after. I have not kept a few screenshots of the book. For example, Gallian, I believe that it is more famous book of algebra, so that's why I have not kept. Similarly, for linear algebra also, I have not kept the screenshot of that Gilbert book, because I believe it is, everyone is familiar with that. If not, then please let me know. I will give you that reference also. But for complex analysis, I think this is a less famous book, but it is very good. Yeah. So for algebra, again, so many type of questions asked on homomorphisms, isomorphisms, what kind of group permutations, very much variety of questions on permutations are being asked. And pigeonhole principle, if not directly in part B and part C, we also see question from here in part A. Sometimes permutation combination we see in part A. So this is about it. Yes. And field extensions, I can see, yeah. So field extensions also are being asked in many ways. In 4.75, from this part and this part, so many questions are being asked. And because now we cannot say that this is the only important part you focus on. Every time the question is paper is a very big surprise for us also. I have seen the drift in the level of the question papers, as well as which we used to think like, okay, nothing will come from here, more will come from there now. And these topics, of course, connectedness, compactness are very important. Maybe not directly from, they will not ask directly, but they will make a mixture of questions from complex analysis as well as real analysis and algebra and linear algebra and ODEs. There are those kind of questions also. They will ask some functions on some ranges in complex analysis, where they will be asking about the connectedness and all those things. Real part of this, there is a complex function, but on the real part of this, they are talking about connectedness and compactness of the function. So this is how a mix of questions are being prepared these days. Again, ODEs. For ODEs, I have seen very nice questions from variable coefficients. So which part? The yeah, system of first order ODs, they ask questions from here. And we should remember also the form of solutions, at least for those types, like what should be the particular integral of, if the function is of e power x, if it is sin x. So these kind of questions are there in part B, and we need not solve them on spot. We should be that much prepared, at least that we know this kind of solution. Then of course they won't ask us now to solve the ODEs. They will be talking about the properties of solutions of ODEs generally now. And for that, we need to go for some higher level books with more understandings after the basic level preparations, of course. And so this is about that. From numerical analysis, so many questions are being asked from this portion. Numerical solutions of ODEs using Picard, Euler, Modify Euler, and RK method. So they are asking questions from here, of course. Newton-Raphson method they are asking. And about that convergence, of course, rate of convergence, the questions have been asked from this also. Numerical integration questions are coming. Finite differentiation question are coming. So we cannot spare any part, of course. If not in one exam, if we see all the three exams, maybe IIT exam, GATE, and CSIR exam, there will be definitely question from each topic these days in one of the exams. So we should not leave. I recommend again, complete the syllabus. There is nothing like this is the only thing which I should do and I will score good. So regarding the reference books for ODEs, this is very nice book. I would recommend again. And I again say that please do not start with this. Once you are done with the preparation from your familiar books, please read this for once. So the author name is not visible. It is Syr Ahmed. It is here. So textbook on ODEs by Syr Ahmed. Please read chapter 1 to chapter 9. Why am I saying is because of this portion I have seen. Okay, I don't know where is it written here, but there are type of questions specifically on system of ODEs, where a linear system of ODE is given to us, we are required to, of course, find dy equals to some row into xy. Similarly, there another system. So this dy dx equals to, so this kind of system is given to us, and then we find the eigenvalues of the matrix formed there, and from that eigenvalues, we have to decide about the asymptotic behavior of the solutions sometimes. So what happens if lambda is positive? What happens both lambda 1, lambda 2 are positive, negative? So they behave differently. And those questions are directly asked from the exercises of this book sometimes I have seen. So please read chapter 1 to chapter 9 after your preparation. Of course, do not start with these books. But once you are done with that, please read once chapter 1 to chapter 9. There are very nice exercises, of course, of advanced level given in the book. And those questions are directly asked, I remember, from the system of equations of ODEs and behavior of solutions, asymptotic behavior of solutions. And for PDs, again, I would suggest this book, not complete PDs, chapter 3 to chapter 6, and for these topics only. For Laplace, heat, and wave equations, the questions are asked from this book, I have seen. So these are again few suggestions from my side. I do not know how will it work from now onwards, but yeah, this is how I feel. And about calculus of variation, linear integral equations, and classical mechanics, I do not know we are reading or not it, because I have never prepared from classical mechanics. But again, I would not suggest anyone to leave any topics now. From COVs and specifically from linear integral equations, so we have now seen that a change in the trend specifically for those 4.75 marks questions. So the questions are not asked about the solutions or anything, but more are about when we are trying to solve these questions, there are intermediate steps, and on the intermediate step, the questions are being asked. For example, if I talk about Fredholm equations of first kind, and while solving the questions, we are encountered with eigenvalues and eigenfunctions, of course, of different kind of kernels. So this is the second topic I am talking about, characteristic numbers and eigenfunctions. More questions are asked from here. You will generally see a question from this type, and those properties are also, if I talk about the book. So this is the book I am talking about, The Classical Theory of Integral Equations. It has only 6 chapters. First 3 chapters for Fredholm integral equations, and next 3 chapters for Volterra integral equations. And I have seen that the kind of examples and the solutions they have provided, and we can see intermediate steps from where the questions are missed. So please note this book. There are only 6 chapters, and the 6 chapters are first 3 for Fredholm equations and second 3 for Volterra equations. I say that you do not need any other book. And please do not leave these 2 topics as well, because nowadays these are the lottery topics we have. It is very difficult to solve all the questions from linear algebra, but if we get to solve 2 or 3 extra questions from these topics, we are happily done with the exam. That is why this is a book for calculus of variation. This is the only book which I have kept from some local author, because I have noticed that the writing and the arrangement of the topics is actually very nice. So this is book written by someone from the Department of Basic Sciences, Uttar Pradesh Textile Technology Institute, and this is the only local book which I have referred at the end for the preparation of this exam. Of course, high level books was deep understanding books where I was referring after doing the preparation from any books which we are familiar of. So this is the book, because the arrangement of the topics are very nice in this book, and I felt like there are nice exercises. Once we have done those exercises, we do not need anything else other than whatever coaching material you have, of course, because the coaching materials are providing us very crisp arrangement of it is easy to remember things from the coaching materials than the books. That is why there is no harm in referring to the coaching material, but please look into the books as well, because those 4.75 marks are now questions are actually not direct and we need to know that concepts deeply. So this is about it. And then this is the syllabus of statistics. I understand that those who are from purely mathematics background won't be looking at this syllabus, but still, because Mhm. Okay, so please give at least 1 week for this statistics portion also. If not much, then please do descriptive statistics, exploratory data analysis, Bayes theorem, and some basics of Markov chains, because there are very lottery questions I have seen from these topics directly. For example, I would like to mention this question. This is a 4.75 marks question asked in CSIR, which if you have not even looked at the syllabus, you would never touch this question. But this was actually lottery question, would require less than a minute to solve this question. We can do it right away also. So it is given that x and y be two random variables satisfying x is positive, y is positive. Expectation of x is given to be 3, variance is given to be 9. And similarly, expectation of y is given to be 2, expectation of variance of y is given to be 4. If we have done a 1 week study, we are familiar with these notations. This is nothing but from the first topic only, descriptive statistics. Then what is asked is, does the covariance lie between 0 to 4? So within 2-3 lectures we will get to know about this formula. Covariance is less than equals to square root of variance x variance y. Vx is given to you, Vy is given to you, so you can notice that this is less than equals to 6, not less than 4, so you will never choose this. Similarly, there is another formula about Exy, they are direct formulas, and then we have seen that this thing is less than equals to 6, of course. Okay, and similarly expectation of x and expectation of y is also given to us, so we can check, but this is also not true. Similarly, about 3, variance of x plus y follows this thing. This is known to us, which is 9, and this is known to us, which is 5. So 9 plus 4 is 13. So this thing is somewhat equal to 13 plus 2 into something less than equals to 6. So this is less than equals to 25. True. Similarly, there is another direct formula which we can use, and notice that these two are true, these two are false, just by doing 1 week study from this first topic only, and this was a 4.75 mark question. So these kind of questions sometime are seen in the exam also. For those basic questions, please do not leave it as it is. At least do Bayes theorem questions are seen in, there will always be a question from Bayes theorem in part B, which I can say. And similarly, Markov chain, very nice. It is doable within 1 week, even if you have not even heard about what is statistics, and similarly these things. So please do not leave these. This is my recommendation. Okay, so talking about, because we have only nearly less than, of course, 1 month to appear for the exam, I would recommend that at this time you should not give much time to the new learnings, and you can give at most 30% of your time to the new learnings. 40% time you should be devoting to the revision, and 30% times you should be taking tests. By mock test, I do not mean that take test from anywhere, but even if you are able to solve last 15-year question papers, it will be more than enough as a preparation. While solving each and every question paper, we should not think like how much did I score in this. Rather than every part B question, we should look at in a way what will happen if it were a part C question. So for example, if it is a part B question, we get a right answer, we say it is yes. But more than accepting a part, it is very difficult to how to reject a option. So while we are preparing now, at least for this 1 week, 1 month, if we have a part B question from the last year question paper also, you please look at it as a part C question and think of how could we discard the options, because in part C it is not always too easy to prove or disprove. Sometimes we know, okay, by direct results 1 or 2 options are okay, clear to us, but 1 or 2 options are left to us, which we need to either accept or discard by some logic. For discarding, we of course need to have a counter example. For example, for matrices, sometimes even identity matrix and zero matrix work as a counter examples. So before thinking of any other matrices, please think of identity and zero matrices as a counterexample. And for real analysis, it is very difficult to think of counterexamples because functions of specific types of functions are required for the counterexample. So that is a difficult task, I would say. But for the other parts, the counterexamples can be found. And please start thinking of counterexamples as a very simple things, then go for complicated things. And of course, we should devote more and more time to the part C type of questions, as I mentioned earlier. And please avoid burnout at these times. We should take nice breaks as well as sleeps, because if our health is good and we are feeling, nice, and we do not feel any kind of burden, very much burden on the mind, of course, only then we can perform. I think I am taking much time, or how much time do I have, sir? Okay. So, so far I was talking about how to prepare for the exam. Now it is equally important on how to attempt the exam very strategically. So we need to decide once I get a question paper, I would recommend that please take 5 minutes just to see through the question paper before starting anything, because anyone who is going to write the exam, sometimes we are going through traffic, something might have happened during like yesterday or something which is bothering us, anything. So once we are sitting on the seat, we need to be calm and look at the question paper. At least before starting anything, look at the question paper. If even by scanning the question paper through our eyes, we can have a feel like how much of this question paper do I know. So take first 1, 2, 3 minutes, have a pencil in your hands. Sometimes you see a question paper which is repeated, you have done it, I have done it maybe 2 days back, maybe 7 days back, this was there in the question paper. So these type of questions are seen. So while you just in first 2 minutes, you just tick those questions which you have already seen, which you think like it will be done in 10 seconds kind of thing. So please go tick those questions and move ahead. Have a look at the question paper before attempting. And attempting also, please choose which section should you do first. For example, for me, I always used to attempt section B first. Why? So what is my logic is, if I start with section A, every question of section A requires rigorous thinking actually, because we have never seen those are not from syllabus. You have to think on this, and sometimes you feel like, okay, this type of thought is correct, but this type of thing also can happen, because those are not always mathematical questions. If those are mathematical questions, good. If those are not mathematical questions, then we can think, or we can sit and think for a question maybe of 10 minutes, but still no solution we do get. That is why please avoid doing section A in the first. Also section C requires a rigorous thinking. We can waste any amount of time on section C also. So that is why we should start with section B. In section B also, please do not give any question more than 2.5 or 3 minutes. If it is taking, you feel like I can do it, I know the solution, but still please do not take. Starting with section B, and maybe after doing section B, we can tick that, okay, these are the questions which I know, but I am not doing it now. Maybe later I will do it, this question. So this is how we should attempt to section B. Then section B, of course, every question requires maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So that much of time. And again, I would recommend that please do not give any question more than 5 minutes, even if you know the solution. So this is how, and then I come back to section A, and once I have done this, then I will revisit the question paper, the whole question paper, and see those marked questions which I can do now. Within each section also, for example, in section B I am coming. So there are 4 units in section B. I have to decide which unit should I do first. For example, everyone is good with linear algebra, so they should start with linear algebra. Those who are good with complex analysis should start with complex analysis. Those who are happy with real analysis should start with real analysis. But in the start of the exam, please start with section B. In section B, whichever section you are most confident, so that in first 15 minutes you will grasp a speed as well as some confidence. If we start with some kind of section which we are not comfortable with, and then we lose our hope in the starting also, also, so that's not a good practice. So this is how I used to do my exam, is section B, C, A, and then revisiting. In section B, I would attempt complex analysis first because they are calculative. Then ODEs, they are again calculative in section B. Then linear algebra and real analysis, because linear algebra are calculative but require a rigorous thought these days in section B also. They never ask direct questions. They ask about a power hundreds, what is happening. They ask about trace of so many composition of matrices. They ask about determinant of so many compositions of matrices. So these kind of questions are being asked, but they are doable in little bit more time. So this is what I would suggest for the exam attempt. Again, during the exam, how should we manage the time? Because we have 3 hours, exact 3 hours. So give first 5 minutes to scan the question paper. We can mark those questions which we have seen earlier on site of the questions. We feel like we can do it right away. So we can mark in those first 5 minutes. Then while solving section B, we should not give more than first 45 minutes to the section B. We should avoid lengthy calculations at this first round of section B. So far we have given 50 minutes and only section B is done. Next 1 hour should be completely given to section C. So we have given almost 2 hours now, and then we can come back to section B or section A, of course. Please do not give more than 30 minutes to section A. In 30 minutes, we should be able to do at least 10 to 12 questions, not more than that. And I think it will be done. Then we will be having almost 30 to 35 minutes left. And in those 30 to 35 minutes left, we can revisit our section A and B. 1 or 2 questions, of course, those we take earlier that, okay, we should attempt it now. Maybe a question from section B requires more than 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, but now we can do it. Similarly for section C also, again section A also. But once we are done through this, then we should do all those questions which are time taking. And this is something I would like to say about the exam, because it is, every question is not actually that difficult. The difficulty level it seems to be having. These are 2 questions I have kept from one of the JRF CSIR exam only. So I call them lottery questions. That those 30% questions which are actually easy but look scary on the look should be taken care in few seconds only. So I give you, of course, few seconds to think of, and please tell me if there is any difficulty in solving both of them. More than 15 seconds we should not take. This one is from part B, and this is surprisingly from part C of a CSIR exam. So this question is, fx is given as some function of x and y. We are asked to partially derivate f first x with respect to y. So if I take the first derivative with respect to x, I know there will be some bigger term of x, and it will be of cos x plus y again. If I do it y, whatever bigger term it was, it will be 0, and it will be cos ka sine, so minus sine x plus y. I directly reach there. There is nothing. It will hardly take 10 to 15 seconds. No pen is required. But if I start doing like this, so it will take time. So look at the options also. Please do not start like doing it. Look at the options and then do it, and it should be. So these lottery questions, I say if someone is missing on those, then it is difficult to crack the exam. And this is a question which is from part C, surprisingly. And so it is alpha is 0 to infinity, definite integral sum 1 to 1 divided by 1 plus t square. We know that it is tan inverse t with limits infinity and 0. So it is just pi by 2. If it is pi by 2, sine pi by 2 is 1, and we see other things are gone. So this is how it is. So those lottery questions, we might think of, okay, if you think of like from which portion of the syllabus it is. So I don't know from which portion you will relate it to, but these are some questions. This kind of question literally happen in the exam, and we should not spare them. These 10-15 extra marks which we get like this type of questions, and everyone will be awarded with this. These are their kind of questions which we are, if able to recognize, make us ranker. So this is what about the question paper strategy and the preparation strategy. Just to summarize, part A is of logical reasoning, part B only theorem statements, short concepts and fast solving will help us. part C actually requires deep understanding and lengthy derivatives, so we should devote time accordingly to each part. And the target accuracy should be greater than speed in part C. So we can be little bit slower, but we should look at our accuracy while doing questions from part C. And we of course should attempt our known questions first, because if we are trapped in some kind of question which we do not know and we are just wasting our time on that, so it will harm us later. And these are the common mistakes I think we make and we should avoid. Like, we should not neglect part A completely. We should of course give at least 30 minutes in the exam, maybe later last 30 minutes, or just maybe after 2 hours we can give 30 minutes to part A, but we should not neglect. Also, preparation of part A is not like we should not at all prepare. I would again suggest that at least last 15 years of question papers are available. Some are available on the website, and I think till 2018 to 25 the question papers are available on the website. Rest we can of course get from the study material of any coachings. They have kept the previous year papers with them, so it is easily available. And from at least we should prepare from there, that what kind of questions in part A are coming and what is the logic behind solving the part A. So they of course might not repeat the questions, but logics are repeated, so we should take care of that. And we cannot rely on just memorization. We need to know how to work on the proofs as well. And it is of course a very big mistake that we have studied a lot but we did not practice the question papers. We cannot ignore time and negative marking during the exam, and lack of revision is of course not going to help us. And it is a final month strategy because we are in the final month now, so we should think of preparing or solving 3 full mock papers per week. We can revise our formula sheets, and we can keep a formula sheet as well as for the key theorems. Also, there are some very special formula of Wronskians. We see Wronskians questions in the exam very often from ODs. There are direct formula questions, so we should remember those formula. We of course should analyze the question papers trends previously by doing ourselves also. We can focus on repeated and core topics. By repeated and core topics, I mean that there are some special formula which are sometimes not even directly seen in the textbooks, but we see that okay, this was the question which is coming 2-3 times in last 15 years, and this is the formula, so we can try to remember that. Sometimes of those finding limits of the questions, finding n tends to infinity, there are some specific forms which are being asked. I do not organize now, but I remember I used to have at least 5 to 10 formula, and those formula were very useful. At least 2 questions I used to see in JAM, JRF as well as GATE exam. So there are special formula which we should take care of in our list, and please rest well before your exam day. These are the takeaway from my presentation, that we have to be consistent as well as we have to be strategic. In the exam, it is not always about hard work and strategies work now. And we have to work on mock tests. Please believe in yourself and stay focused. Everyone can do it. We can also do it. Yeah. Any questions, please?
Thank you, madam.
And numerical analysis, they take lot of time.
So yes, madam, that is
They're
what I
easy
was
to
talking
solve,
about.
but they seem to be easy to solve. We will arrive at the solution definitely by solve, but it is taking lot of time. I experienced this last time.
Yes, madam. For that too, once I have shown you this book. This is actually miracle in the integral equations. And how does it happen is, after doing 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, we actually feel like if this kind of kernel is going to be there, then this is the final answer going to look like. And then once we look at the options also, so we can discard from those options that this much of portion of the solution I remember from my previous exercise, and these options do not require involve those types. So once we actually do not need to solve those questions if it is not from 4.75 marks, madam. I can say this. If it is a 3 marks questions, we do not need to solve a complete integral questions. We will see that it will be from a specific type whose solution will be somewhat remembered by us, and then looking at the options in the questions, we can discard them. We can discard options from part B also. It is not only the trick for part C.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you.
And again, I would recommend, please look at this book, and we will feel that those eigenvalue eigen questions we do not require to completely solve. We will see that only 3-4 type of situations are there. If we reach there, then we will be able to decide which one is correct or which one is not correct option.
And one more thing, ma'am. Do we need to attempt maximum number of questions?
No,
Or
ma'am.
only the answers which we know exactly, that only we had to attempt?
Yes, ma'am. So as I said here also, our accuracy matters more in part A and part B. Of course, in part C, we are allowed to attempt for 20 questions. In last 5 minutes, if you have attempted 12, so please close your eyes and mark any 8 questions also. Please do not leave questions from part B. It is your luck. But in part A and part B, we should be careful about. If we are not 98% sure, we should not take a option, because it is not only costing us those 3 marks, it is also costing us extra 0.75 marks, which could have saved.
Okay, madam.
So,
Thank you, madam.
Okay,
yes,
ma'am.
Before we conclude today's session, I request all of you to please share your feedback on this lecture. If you have any questions or doubts related to the session, feel free to ask now. Dr. Sarita madam will give happy to answer even for your questions. Anyone? Any others? Yeah. If you want to interact with madam, please feel free to ask any questions regarding to this CSIR NET examination as well as TG set and AP set. Both are similar to CSIR NET. Yes. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Please.
Hello.
Please. Please
Good
call.
evening, ma'am.
yes, good evening, ma'am.
In part A, first of all, I have a doubt because in the last exam, I just follow the previous questions, videos in YouTube, and I did at least 3 to 4 questions. So if we look at the previous year questions for part A, it is better, or is this is the way to solve the part A questions?
Ma'am, I do not remember if part A type of question, I mean aptitude type of questions come in IIT JAM or not, but in GATE and CSIR, both the exams we get the first section as a aptitude questions. And if we practice last 15 years of question paper from CSIR as well as from GATE, I am sure the questions are repeated as well as the logics are repeated, and also there are some very nice questions which require a little bit of mathematical thinking. For example, I remember seeing one question from a CSIR exam which was asking what should be the average length of a smaller portion of a stick if we randomly break it. So what does the question says is, if we are just trying to break a stick randomly, so if the length of a stick is say L units and we are trying to break it, if we break it, it is hardly that it will be broken into equal parts. One part will be smaller, one part will be larger. And the question is, what is the average length of a smaller portion? So we cannot say that it will be L by 2, because L by 2 will be the half of the length, and we are very unlikely to break a random stick into half. But the smaller portion length will be starting from 0 to L by 2. Of course, if the length is more than L by 2, it cannot be a smaller portion. So it ranges from 0 to L by 2, whose average is L by 4. So mathematical type thinking questions are also coming in part A, as well as those relations questions are also coming. They are giving relations, and sometimes those sequence filling questions are also coming. So we have noticed the sequence questions filling, and those shape filling questions are also coming. So these are the type of questions that are coming in part A. And if we practice these 30 question papers, 15 last 15 from CSIR and last 15 from GATE exam, we will see that there is a similarity in the pattern, and we can crack, at least we can crack 10 to 12 questions we can crack every time.
Thank you so much. That is my question, ma'am. If we practice that questions repeatedly, that type of questions and the logics, if we catch that, we can do new questions also.
Yes, madam, yes. Because we gain confidence that we have practiced. If we do not practice, we do not have confidence. And then we will not be able to think on the question. We will feel like, okay, these kind of questions I have not practiced, so I should not touch them. But we gain confidence if we have practiced.
So thank you, madam. I sincerely thanks Dr. Sarita, madam, for accepting my invitation and to deliver a wonderful session to our Telugu state students. Madam, I request one more thing, madam. So my students and the Telugu students are asking, if possible, please take few sessions on CSIR net topics, most important topics, or any your interesting topics, because of they are very feel happy they putting in chat box also. Madam,
Yeah.
if possible, please take few classes for how to crack CSIR net in some certain topics you can choose, madam. So whenever you are free, so you take few classes at least.
I am sorry, I did not see the chat box, but now I can see that there are 23 suggestions are there. If there is any question from the chat box, please ask.
Yeah.
It will take time to go
Okay,
through.
madam. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, anyone? So before going to close, what of thanks? Anyone
Yeah.
interact or anyone ask the questions from audience?
Yes, I see. It is kind of a nice feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.
And okay,
Very
but
nice session, madam.
there are no
Wonderful session.
questions. Okay, and I again request, please go through the books I have suggested. I have personally felt they are very
Okay.
useful.
Ma'am, how much score is required to qualify as a PhD and assistant professorship?
Yes, ma'am. So
Eligibility
looking,
for assistant professorship.
yeah. So looking at the last 15 years of statistics, I was just looking at that. So before 2014, if I get 100 marks, I will definitely score a JRF, and it was around 80 to 90 marks. It was always net. But after 2014, there is a big spike in the scores, and now if you want to be in a safer zone, you should be at least targeting 110 marks. Targeting, yeah. So either you will get a net or you will get a JRF. Till now, everyone is getting JRF at 110. But still, if you want to be at a safer side, we should not target less than 110, because net is always around 100 and JRF is always around 110. So this is what the pattern is looking like. So yeah, targeting 110 is a good score.
Okay, ma'am.
Any others? Only one member in feedback. Please give your feedback on this session.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Madam, I am now basic level, madam. Any books to suggest to me, madam?
Okay, sir. So you must have done your bachelor's degree and master's degree, sir. And I would again suggest, before starting from any new book, please go through whatever was taught to you at your bachelor's level and then at your master's level. Then you can look at whatever coaching you are attending. If you are attending SIR's coaching or any other coaching, then that material, and after that you can go for my books.
Thank you. Ganesh here. Yeah, Ganesh.
Yes, madam, any session for part A, madam?
Part A.
Part A, madam.
Part
This
A
is,
sessions, any mathematics person won't be required for part A sections. And believe me, you please practice 10 to 15 sets and you will gain some confidence. Only some confidence will help us in the exam for part A. No mathematical sessions are required. Of course, there are some questions which I tried to explain one question which required some basic knowledge of an average from 0 to L by 2 length. So it is a uniform distribution A to B, and the average is A plus B by 2. but this is not always helping. But part A session, I am sorry, I don't think will be helpful by anyone.
Just to go through the last 10 years or 10 years paper is enough to cover all.
Yes,
Thank
because
you,
we are
thank you,
not
thank you,
preparing
madam.
for SSC-CGL. This is kind of that question, SSC-CGL. Yeah.
Majorly
Thank you.
practice is important, practice is important, revision is important. What you
Yes.
prepared in the previously, you can revise the topics these 1 month. So and also attempt of test series is also most important.
Yes, sir. There was one topic I remember, how to differentiate under integration.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I told na that I had 5-6 formula that questions were always coming in part B from that. So one of those is differentiation under integration. That is, if you have a integral ax to bx of some ftdt, and
Yes.
how to differentiate it with
Under
respect
the
to x.
integrals and we have a theorem.
Yes, integrals under difference. This is a very nice formula only, and we will see one question each year either in JAM or in GATE or in CSIR.
Yeah, great. Thank you, madam. I request Sarita, madam M. Sarita, please say vote of thanks to today's session. Madam, your voice is not audible. You are in mute, please. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. I am Sarita, here to deliver vote of thanks on behalf of FERMATS Educational Academy.
Hello.
First and foremost, I would like to thank Ms. Sarita ma'am. We are truly grateful to you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time with us. And the information you shared with us will certainly helpful for us in our preparation. With proper planning and commitment and hard work only, we can crack CSIR NET exam. We have understood from your session, ma'am. People like you are a great source of inspiration for us, who are preparing for CSIR NET exams. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Nagaya sir for organizing the program for the benefit of the students. My deepest thanks to Dr. Nagaya sir. Every time sir is organizing these kind of programs before CSIR GATE exams, and is motivating the students and mentally. That thank you, sir. Thank you for supporting the students.
Madam. And thank you, Dr. Sarita madam, for expressing your views and ideas to my students. I heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sarita Garu for accepting invitation. Just a mail, you accepted my invitation, madam. I am very happy. I am very much thankful to you, madam, on behalf of both Telugu state students, because of our students are every year going to Delhi for taking coaching. Some of the students are unable to pay such amount, unable to go to Delhi and Hyderabad. So they are preparing for only notes or material. So there is no guidance to valuable guidance or proper guidance to preparing of CSR examinations. For that only, we are organizing this online session to entire Telugu station. Madam, once again, I am very much thankful to you on behalf of our Telugu students.
Thank you very much, sir. I would be very happy if at least any one or two people from the session can be benefited by my talk. I tried to keep the resources as much I could recognize from my times. Thank you.
Sure, madam. One more thing is, you are completed your PhD in my Telangana only, BITS Pilani of Hyderabad.
No. BITS Pilani campus I have taken, sir. Rajasthan.
Rajasthan only.
Yes, Pilani campus. No, not Hyderabad.
Okay. Nice. Good night, madam. Thank you. Yeah. Good night, all of you.